Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSAN, has declared a nationwide strike. The PENGASSAN and the Trade Union Congress TUC faulted the management of Dangote Refinery over its handling of labor union activities, insisting that workers' fundamental rights to freedom of association must not be undermined. PENGASSAN claims Dangote Refinery sacked the workers for joining the union. The union calls it an affront to all workers in Nigeria. The federal government is scrambling to mediate into the crisis. Can the union be persuaded to stop its planned nationwide strike? Looking at what the impact would have on the supply of products to the citizens, as well as the energy sector at large. Joining us for this discussion is the chairman of the Trade Union Congress in Lagos State, Comrade Abiodun Aladetan, and the publisher of the Energy Times. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Kayode Ekundayo. We're hoping that he'll join us shortly. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Let's start with, Dangote Refinery and the allegations of sacking unionized workers. Is this allegation confirmed?
Yeah, good morning. So, my name is Comrade Abiodun Aladetan, TUC Chairman, Lagos State. I can tell you authoritatively that the issue you just raised, it can be confirmed. We have it on good authority from our members who are from PENGASSAN, that over 800 Nigerian workers who try to exercise their right as guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution, Section 40, which gives us right to freedom of association and the right to join any union of your choice. Let me put it on record that the Trade Union Act is very clear as to the issue of unionization. For junior staff, it is automatic, and for senior staff, they will tell you it is voluntary. Voluntary in the sense that you can put it in writing that you want to belong to a trade union of your choice. And I can tell you for free that this particular set of workers have actually complied strictly with that section of the Trade Union Act. They willingly applied to PENGASSAN to be members. It is unfortunate that within the space of few days of showing their interest in joining PENGASSAN, the management of Dangote Refinery actually showed them the way out. I think this act is not done in good faith. It is against the law of the land, and it is something all Nigerians must come together to actually condemn. And I must say this, you see, what is happening in Dangote Refinery today is not something that Nigerians can jubilate about, because like we say, an injury to one is an injury to all. There are several international conventions, trade union acts, that are in support of the Nigerian worker. Apart from the 1999 Constitution, the Trade Union Act, Section 9, 6A and B, is very clear. No employer should even determine for a worker if you are to join union or not to join union. And Section B of that 9 also says that no employer should be victimized on the basis of you being member of a union. So they are being dismissed today is as a result of the fact that they show willingness to join PENGASSAN, which is a clear breach from the management of Dangote of the Trade Union Act. Also, I have to put it on record that there are several international conventions in support of this worker. When you talk of Convention 87 and 98 of the International Labour Organization, we talked about right to organize freely and right to collective bargaining. So I think if you go through this series of legal instruments, one can see that the Dangote Refinery is not actually on the path of law. And I think at this point, we have a middle person here, which is the government. And as God will have it, the government is the enforcer. So I am highly optimistic that the government, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who have always been proactive so far, I know this government will quickly intervene so that this issue can be urgently nipped in the bud, so that it doesn't degenerate into, unnecessary crisis. Okay,
let's now bring in the publisher of the Energy Times, Mr. Kayode Ekundayo. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I believe you've heard what Comrade Abiodun Aladetan has said regarding the allegations that Dangote Refinery has sacked tons of workers who expressed intention and willingness to join PENGASSAN. Let's get your thoughts and reaction to this.
can you kindly unmute your device?
Mr. Ekundayo, we cannot hear you. Can you unmute your device, please? All right.
Okay, while we're waiting for
let's get back to Comrade Aladetan. Now, Comrade, quite a large cross-section of Nigerians are not very happy with PENGASSAN and the unions. They're saying you're trying to reap where you do not sow. That for all these years, Nigerian refineries has been comatose, and then an individual comes with this private money, invest, and then you're trying to be hawks and to reap where you did not sow. That why didn't you show this amount of concern to other issues with regards to the oil sector, the refineries, the state of the roads in Nigeria? That why are you being hawkish when it comes to Dangote? That Dangote has done us a national service, that Nigerians are no longer, the days of long queues are over, and we have stability. It's also saving us forex from importing refined petroleum products. How do you respond to this cross-section of Nigerians?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think a lot of Nigerians actually do not understand, how things operate in the industrial relations space. You see, so far so good, we've heard all kinds of stories, people believing that, by Dangote coming on board, Dangote is doing Nigeria a lot of favor. Nobody is arguing about the fact that Dangote Refinery has actually come to help solve some of our challenges. We are not disputing that fact. And nobody is also saying the Dangote Refinery will not lead to employment creation, etc. However, what we are saying here is an issue of law. Are we saying because Dangote Refinery is located in Lagos, employed Nigerians, so therefore Nigerians should not exercise a right that has been guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution? What we are saying here is a constitutional matter. Most people don't know. The right to join a union is a constitutional issue. So I think some of these issues that people raise are just a way, of blackmailing the union, probably, to make the union feel bad by members who are trying to exercise a constitutional guaranteed right. And let me also say this. There are a lot of multinational companies that presently operate in Nigeria, such as Seplat, Mobil, Total Energies, etc., who have serious investment in the Nigerian space. The question is this: have you heard any issue between the union and some of these other companies? The answer is no. It is because these companies also understand the fact that there are laws and there are regulations in Nigeria, and I can tell you they've been complying with those laws and regulations. So if you look at the Dangote Refinery, I don't know why most private employers of labor are usually scared when it comes to, operating with trade union within this organizational space. I can say it for free, that it is only the only government is the one respecting that freedom of association part of the 1999 Constitution. There is hardly any government institution you see that will be created today where they will not allow union to exist. It is very rare. You hardly find that. But go to the private sector. They usually have this mindset that unions are adversaries. Rather, you should be seeing unions as collaborators, as partner in progress, and not your adversary. I think it is this mindset that has led to this ugly situation. If you will recall, recently there was an issue too on the issue of unionization between the same Dangote Refinery and NUPENG. NUPENG, which happened to be the unions for all the tanker drivers. If you notice, this issue was quickly nipped in the bud by Federal Ministry of Labor, where invited Bupa. It was also the issue of unionization. They don't want unions to exist there. And the mindset is that once you have union tend to disrupt your operation. I don't think that notion is correct. If you have unions operating within your space, they have a meaningful contribution that they can also make, because the union is closer to the people. A lot of information, a lot of things that even those at the management level may not know. It is the union who gives you the opportunity, to give you direct feedback, so that in terms of your policies and program, you can shape it so that it becomes labor friendly, and at the same time, it has a way of enhancing your productivity. Because when you work in a space that is toxic, that is not labor friendly, you may be thinking you are making profit, but what you may not know is that you can even still make more. But if your workers are not happy, then it impacts your productivity. So a lot of things need to be done there. I think Dangote Refinery needs to come to the reality that a multinational or an organization as big as Dangote Refinery cannot preach to exist in this oil and gas space without coexisting along with the trade union that also operate in that space. I believe he has a lot to learn from the trade unions. He needs to now, accept this reality. Probably they've been doing it in other sector, but the oil and gas sector is a very sensitive sector. And that's why we are using this opportunity to also beg the government, to appeal to the government, who is an enforcer at this material time, to quickly come to the aid of these Nigerian workers by helping to facilitate a meeting between the Dangote Refinery and PENGASSAN so that this issue can be quickly nipped in the bud. And I want to say that I am highly and strongly optimistic that the federal government that I know this issue will be quickly nipped in the bud within the next 24, probably 48 hours. I'm very optimistic.
Well, we had hoped that this issue would have been nipped in the bud. We thought it was an already resolved matter as at last week, which is why it was much of a shock and surprise to see that we're back here again. Mr. Ekundayo, let's get your thoughts and reactions to this. The allegations that the Dangote group have fired hundreds of workers who've expressed intention to join PENGASSAN. Do you have confirmation on this as well? And let's get your general thoughts.
Can you hear me? Good
yes,
morning.
Loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, it's confirmed that a number of Nigerian workers are sacked at Dangote Refinery. But the chairman made mention of one or two things which I quickly want to comment on. He said that they are looking up to government for dialogue. I think that should have been the first thing to have been done instead of declare a national strike. Cutting off the gas, cutting off crude oil supply, cutting off oil movement is a way of, to me, I see it as, we are under democracy. Democracy entails dialogue. Instead of go on what they have declared now, I think the first thing they should have done, immediately they land of the sack of the workers, the next thing is to reach out to Dangote or reach out to the federal government, which they are expecting to intervene now, to help them, to listen to. There should have been letter, appeal, instead of going all the way, cutting off the valves, cutting off the gas, cutting off the crude oil. I think that is one side. Then on the constitution that says that workers are automatically entitled to join unions in a institution, or whether private or federal government. I want to disagree, sir. See, the system we are operating now in the world is dynamic and things are changing every day. I'm not on the side of anybody, but I'm talking as a journalist. We know what investment has gone into Dangote Refinery. We know what the man put on ground before he could put up this project for 650,000 barrels of crude oil refining per day. We know what has gone into it. We know what the sacrifice this man has made. Now, all of a sudden, just came up and they said the workers must join the union. And the owner of the company, which is a private institution, saying that for now he doesn't want a union member in his institution. And instead of the union to dialogue, you turn confrontation. To me, it's absolutely out of hand. And definitely the government will intervene, definitely, whether now or in the next 48 hours, because no government will sit down and allow its economy to go into ruins.
Okay.
Definitely it intervene, but the union are doing the wrong thing, the wrong thing. They are taking wrong step and coming to the right step.
Okay, gentlemen,
yes.
Can you kindly hold your thoughts, Comrade Aladetan and Mr. Ekundayo? We'll go on a quick break. I would like Comrade to respond to you when we return from this quick commercial break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Breakfast Central, and we're currently discussing the face-off between PENGASSAN and the Dangote Petrochemical Refinery, where the unions are threatening to go on a strike as a result of the sacking of over about 800 Nigerian workers. And joining us for this discussion, we have the chairman of the Trade Union Congress in Lagos State, Comrade Abiodun Aladetan, and the publisher of Energy Times magazine, Kayode Ekundayo. Great to have you back with us, but I would like to come to Comrade Aladetan. Mr. Ekundayo disagree with you on some certain issues, and he also mentioned that, you know, what you're threatening to do, what the unions are threatening to do, is akin to economic sabotage, and that why, these are my own words now, why would the union, because of 800 people, allow over 200 million Nigerians suffer? We don't have anything to do with it. Why should we go back to long queues? And why do you want to shut down the economy because of a sacking of 800 workers? He suggested you take this up with Dangote, that this is almost like a nuclear option. How do you respond to that?
I think, first of all, let me put this out there, that as a senior staff organization, we are a responsible trade union organization who strongly and firmly believe in constructive engagement as a way of resolving issues. You know, like I said before, people have called this all kind of names, but I think that is not what it is. And if you listen to me carefully, I have expressed optimism that this issue will be quickly, or can be quickly, you know, nipped in the bud. So, you know, for those who say it's an economic, sabotage or whatever they call it, I don't think they are being fair to this innocent.
How are they not being fair? You're planning to shut down, to stop the movement of petroleum products. Nigerians, ordinary Nigerians, are going about their business. How is it not fair? 800 Nigerians versus I think there are some technical issues here that we need to explain. Okay, go ahead.
You know, NUPENG are those who are in charge of moving of fuel from one point to the other. And I don't think, from the issue that has been declared so far, I don't think you've heard the name of NUPENG on this. And the information available to us from the president of PENGASSAN is that what is available can still sustain Nigeria for the next 30 days. And he's even expressing optimism that the issue can be quickly resolved. So the issue of grounding the economy, according to him, he said, is not even the issue, because he's optimistic that that won't happen. So I know, going back to what my colleague in the other side of the divide said, that workers were forced to join union. I don't think that narrative is correct. You know, like I said earlier on, the Trade Union Act made unionization compulsory for junior staff and made it optional for senior staff. Since it's optional, it simply means if you are a senior staff, you must show in writing the willingness to belong to a trade union. And I think this is what those who have shown the willingness to join PENGASSAN, not that PENGASSAN when they say you have to join us by force. No, it is these workers who probably must have seen one or two things within the Dangote Refinery. A lot of us are not privy to some of the issues there. These are workers who are exposed to all kinds of chemicals, to all kinds of hazard. You don't know what they are going through. From some of our colleagues in other oil and gas firms, we know what happened in terms of, you know, their remuneration, hazard allowance. Some of them, they go as high as negotiating difference in salary every 6 months, some even yearly, some every 2 years. You understand? So they have seen the benefit of having a union, helping them, you know, to push for better welfare of their members. So I think probably it is as a result of all this that they felt that the only way for them to be able to bargain successfully is to belong to the union, and that is the right they have exercised. So the issue of maybe somebody is running a private firm, maybe on the ground of pity, you now believe the union should not exist. What about the plight of the Nigerians who are working there? You must also be able to know the conditions they are being subjected to. So it's a little bit deeper than the way most Nigerians outside are actually seeing it. But like I said before, the issue to me, I've been rightly informed that the FG has, waded into the matter. So hopefully, I think we await the outcome of today's discussion, and I'm highly optimistic that it will be something positive, because I know no government will fold its arm and allow the whole economy to fail because of the ego or interest of one man.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I think the collective sentiment we share is that this be resolved for the benefit of everyone involved, for all the parties, for NUPENG, PENGASSAN, Dangote Refinery, and especially the everyday Nigerian like me and my colleague in the studio. Thank you, and you as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.